So getting started on this path to meeting total strangers and encouraging them to part with $100,000 minimum, what were the biggest hurdles once you got started?
When I first got started, so biggest challenge obviously is just getting the at bats, right? I mean, if your conversion rate's going to be 3 to 5% for people.
So say that again. Getting the what?
At bats, like the reps, like the pitch.
Bats.
Sorry, the Americanisms of a baseball metaphor, but
an at bat.
Yeah, like a try, like a practice. Just getting the coffee meetings and the dinners and the lunches and the calls, getting them scheduled, getting the pitches in. So I used to, an old sales mentor of mine, I learned a trick from him when I first started out. I was not allowed to close down for work for the week unless I had 3 meetings and 5 phone calls set up for every day the following week. And even if it was like my dad and my brother, like I had to have something on the books. And so I used to try to do, at first it was 3 and 5, and then I went to 5 and 10. I tried to have 5 meetings a day and 10 phone calls a day. And I did that for...
That's mind blowing, isn't it? I mean, when you describe that, that is exactly the opposite of the world I try to create.
Yeah.
Minimal calls, minimal meetings.
Yeah.
How can I avoid everything and do it all online and automated? Anyway.
Yeah, right. So, and we've kind of obviously pivoted, but that was the original business model, right? Was this is what I was going to do every day. And I did that for a couple of years, in addition to travel and conferences and that kind of thing. That's how I first got into the business.
Yeah, it's a lot of brain damage, isn't it? So, right. So you started crowdfunding, you built a nice platform over there. You've done a nice job of it. And you've moved to marketing, right? So now you've created your mousetrap, for want of a better term, and you start marketing. So what are the most effective marketing methods you have now, right? In the past, it would be 3 meetings a day and 10 phone calls. What works well today for you?
Yeah. And one comment to your statement about the brain damage, and it is a lot of work. It's not supposed to be easy. And I think people in who aspire to be a GP or a sponsor, they want to avoid that sales part of it, right? They want to be able to just circumvent it, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned there, right? In terms of getting the meeting, having the meeting, doing the pitches, getting the feedback, going to Tulsa for that lunch meeting that you just never know what's going to happen there. I mean, that's kind of how I came up in the business. So I would embrace it if I were people, but there certainly is a better mousetrap out there. And so from a marketing perspective, I think the best thing that we've done is oftentimes sponsors, and this was certainly the case for me early on, when I meet a prospect or I have a current LP and we're going to have a conversation, it's going to be a transactional binary conversation. I'm going to offer you a widget and I'm going to ask you for your time and money in return for that widget. And you're going to say yes or no. Now, the way that we've created things from a content perspective is we give people educational content, we give them access to resources, and we give them a community of like-minded investors, peers, and affinity network. These are all things that what I call can allow them to be in the neutral zone or the parking lot. So once they enter into our ecosystem, they can spend time at these places through LinkedIn, through co-branded content, through my podcast, through some of the webinars that we do and some of the networking events that we do. These are all places where I'm not asking them for anything. I'm just giving them things, giving them resources, giving them connections, giving them access. And over time, it's going to become, okay, well, I've gotten to know Brian. He's been really helpful to me. Let's now initiate this next level of the conversation. So it's really taken away this very transactional binary type dynamic and created more of a what I would call like a lead nurturing type of space where people can get comfortable, get to know you, and then it turns into a logical conversation of, okay, well, let's talk about investing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's interesting, isn't it, Brian, about moving your efforts online from the in-person world. Your time is levered. Before, you can only engage with one person at a time, one phone call, one meeting. That's why, what was it? What did your mentor say? 3 meetings, 10 calls.
Mm-hmm.
So figure 5, that's 8 hours a day, solid, just one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now you put a podcast out and, in my case, at least 3 or 4 people hear it all at once.